Hey guys, we all know Western Union. They aren't just the way to send money to Mexico anymore.
No, you racist.
Go to our website and you can send money to family and friends in 135 countries. See, I only thought there was 80 countries.
Are you going to send money to your family in Australia?
No, but if I ever did, I'd do it with Western Union. Put bills on a prepaid card.
Why would you put bills on a Jason, do you put bills on prepaid cards?
No.
Then you know what else you can do? You can pay bills online.
Do you pay bills online?
Yes, I do.
Well, you can do it through Western Union.
You can also pay a domestic or foreign mortgage. Because you know what? Sometimes I send money to Mexico and just pay people's mortgages off.
Yeah.
My career's going that well.
Could you pay a divorce off?
Auto, credit card, insurance, utility, divorce, government, and other types of bills. Who can think of any other bills?
Cell phone.
Western Union.
Weed.
You can pay for weed, Western Union.
Send funds any day or night, almost anywhere in the world, 135 currencies.
Yeah.
And the euro covers so many countries all by itself, and that's a lot of currencies. They also have a ton of new business solutions. Go to JimandEddieTalkShit.com, click on the banner, and get signed up.
That's all you got to do. Go to the banner on our website, JimandEddieTalkShit.com, sign up for Western Union, help our show, and help Western Union make millions of dollars for themselves.
Western Union, the best in the West.
Hey, everybody. This is Eddie from Jim and Eddie Talk Shit. Before we start this episode with Rove McManus, the king of Australia. Rove, if you're from Australia, you know who he is. If you're not from Australia, you should know who he is. One of the nicest men alive. And he's here in the Rape Cottage. But before we start the episode, I need you to go to JimandEddieTalkShit.com. Everything you need to do with this show is there at JimandEddieTalkShit.com. Everything from clicking the banner for Western Union to buying packages of DVDs, T-shirts, CDs, posters, stickers. We got new stickers. These stickers are awesome, and you can put them in really offensive places. Take pictures of them, send it to us, and we will put them on our Facebook page. You can also email us at jimandeddy@yahoo.com. Tell us anything you want. Go to iTunes, comment, and give us 5 stars. Please give us 10 stars. Give us whatever stars you can give us, because that helps promote the show, and it helps get us in the ranking. Jim and Eddie now, Talk Shit, is part of the Fake Mustache Network. And so if you want to go listen to any of their other shows, go listen to the Jay Moore Show or the Crab Feast or any of their shows. Go to Fake Mustache Network, check that out, and just listen to this episode with Rove McManus.
Two douchebags on a couch. One's an asshole, one's a grouch. And relentless, all their mouths. Jim and Eddie talk shit. Jim and Eddie talk shit.
Yes, you're listening to Talkin' Shit. I'm here with Jim Jeffries and our guest, Rove McManus, all the way from Australia.
Thank you very
But he
much.
lives here now. He pretends like he lives in Australia.
We
just
don't have
keep-
to introduce Rove to anyone in Australia. Everyone in Australia will know who he is.
And in
To America, you're the equivalent, I'd say, of David Letterman. in
I'll
Australia.
take that.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Sleeps with all of his assistants.
Yes.
And in America, you're on The Tonight Show a lot.
Yes,
You do The
yes.
Tonight Show. And so if you're 80, you know him.
if you've ever attended the Comedy and Magic Club. in
Yeah,
Hermosa
that's
Beach.
true. That's true. Rove, I know from doing your show probably 5-6 years ago when I
Yeah,
first
it
went to
was a
Australia, yes. And Jim used to live in Australia. And probably,
I never did the show.
Did you watch it?
No, I did watch Rove. Yeah.
Did you grow up watching it?
I was never living. I actually started off in Perth, and you come from Perth,
Yes.
as I know. Your cousin's an AFL player,
Yes,
Sean
he is.
McManus.
Oh, I didn't know
plays,
that.
plays professional football.
Yeah,
Or
play-
did. He doesn't
He'd be
anymore.
retired by
He's
now.
retired now.
But I was living in Perth during that era, and you had just gotten your first sort of TV thing and then I moved over to Britain, so I didn't catch a lot of it. No.
Rove had the first show that I ever went on. I'd done a bunch of TV in America, then I went to Australia, and I went to do your TV show, and it was the first green room that I went in where there was alcohol. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is the coolest thing ever.
And our studios were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so everybody drunk drove back to
That's
back
the
to
way.
Melbourne.
That's the way to do it.
But I got
every green room has alcohol.
not like this.
In
Like,
America, the green room with Paul Provenza has alcohol.
that's
in it.
Provenza's show. But
My-
like,
my-
But like talk shows don't.
Both
Talk
my
shows are
specials
dry.
had alcohol.
no, but talk to because they know you.
George Lopez had alcohol.
Oh,
Well,
he
that's 'cause they're
probably
Mexican.
did.
They're Mexican.
He probably did.
They had cocaine. They
I was used as a mule on the Joe Lopez
I
show.
tell you what, Jimmy Kimmel has one of the best green
Yeah, that's the best green room in Hollywood. Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah,
anywhere.
Anyone can fuck Silverman. She's just laying there like human garbage.
They're not together anymore.
That's why he can fuck her. He's still got her under a contract.
But she still comes every week. She still turns up every week, which is very nice of her to do that.
It is the best green room, though. He's got pinball machines, pool tables.
It's like being in a club, and it's always full. And you sit there thinking, "Who are these people?" And then you realize they just turn up. Just
and
to
none
hang out
of them
in the
watch
green
the
room.
show.
No.
Everyone's hanging out there, and you're like, "When's the show on?" They're like, "It's over," and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah. It's like a club at the end of the night. All the lights go on.
I do hate that though when you're in a green room like that, and then like your girlfriend might be backstage and your agent, and you know that no one gives a fuck about you, and you do a spot on a Tonight Show, and then your girlfriend might go shh to everyone, and then you walk back in, there's tension, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you told everyone to fuck off while I was doing my shitty 4 minutes.
It's like being in a bar and wanting to turn the sport channel onto something else.
Yeah.
And everyone just goes, "What?" It's like the piano player stops, like an old western.
Yeah. What? We're really
My
going to have to
metaphor
watch.
just went into another metaphor. So suddenly we're backstage at Kimmel, and then we're in a sports bar, and then we're in an old west
We're in an
saloon.
old western.
Jim and I did a show for.
Is there any new westerns, young westerns?
Yeah, there are.
What's a young western?
Jeff Bridges did one
Young
last
Guns?
year.
The Three Amigos.
That's
still,
not.
Three Amigos.
That's still set in the olden days, though. I'm saying like a
Clint
modern.
Eastwood. Oh, Deadwood. No, that was
Yeah, that's all
Justified.
set in the-
Justified.
Cowboys versus aliens.
Mr. FX.
Hangover.
Justified. You should get into that.
And on the great FX channel. Thank you.
It is a very good channel.
Yes,
It is a good channel.
I enjoy their product.
Jim and I did a show.
Like a good ionized watch.
negative ion.
Negative
ion
Right.
technology.
Right.
There's nothing negative about FX. Just positives.
We're racking them up here. This is great.
Yeah, we're kissing everyone's ass. Fucking killed 2 birds with 1 stone right there. We did a show.
I did that once in a brothel.
Did you really kill it?
Kill 2 birds?
Killed 2 birds. Yeah, that was the joke. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for just spelling my joke
How
out.
did you get a microphone? When I turned up, he didn't have a microphone. I thought everything will be fine.
He's
He's
we
been
fired him, and we don't know why he's
He
back.
shows up.
Are you back here, or are you?
I guess.
How are you? Where are you? What's your status with the show?
I don't know.
Fired.
Okay, I get Jim,
Fired, but still with a headset
No,
and
he
microphone.
used to
Do you
have-
walk
he
around
used-
the
he used to have
streets
a-
with the microphone?
I got fired from the coffee shop. I still hang out there too.
Yeah, that's true. He used to have a monetary deal with us, which is gone, and he still just shows up.
Yeah, there's no money
It's
now.
very Christian of you.
It's very poor of him.
Very poor of you. Yeah.
Jason,
What?
do you want to get a job on Rove show?
Sure.
What could you do for him?
What do you want me to do?
I
Well,
just saw,
if you'll just turn up and do it for free, you can almost do anything.
I
you want.
I just saw the back end of an advert for your TV show, and it just said Hugh Jackman, Rove. What like I just saw the last bit. What is
He was a guest. I guess that's what it was.
is it like
Unless there's some horrible rumor that I'm not aware of. But I will take it. If someone was to say,
there,
look.
there is a rumor about Hugh, not you.
But even if they're like to sit there thinking, well, if he was to turn for anybody, it would be me. I would take that.
Really? He's that?
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
He's
You
I
know,
would take that.
I'll tell
Why
you
would
one
take
thing.
that?
I'll
If
tell you
someone-
one
he
thing.
would have
though.
his choice of any sex, male or female.
yeah.
You don't want to be fisted by Wolverine.
I could serve little hors d'oeuvres off the spikes coming out of my mouth. That'd be all right.
You have had on your show the most famous people in the entire world.
I have tried over the years, and we've done pretty
You
well.
have.
Who would you say your most famous guest is? Because you're ours.
The most famous is weird because it depends on your point of view. Maybe Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
George Clooney.
But you ever
You have
had
Matt
like
Damon.
you ever had like
Matt
like,
Damon.
Like I like legends. Like I know they're like most famous people on earth, but someone that was like the first Doctor Who. Or
Tom Baker?
Well, he was long gone before we even started. Oh, people like Sir George Martin.
Yeah,
who was-
that's a big one.
who was the producer
See,
of
that's-
produced the Beatles.
He produced
Wow.
the Beatles. That's a big
and
guest.
and not only but also, which is a comedy group that started Tim Brooke Taylor from the Goodies and Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Isn't it amazing how unpopular the Goodies is anywhere in the world?
But have you rewatched it? Yeah, like I got the DVD box
but
set
see,
and I
this
started
is-
to watch it and just went, oh,
This is the weird thing. I
doesn't
lived
hold.
in the UK for years, and the Goodies are not popular in the UK. It aired. Do you want to know what the difference is?
In the UK,
the
right.
Goodies in the UK but they were trying to sell it to adults. It had tits in it. There was
Yes.
naked tits in it. And then the Australians went, just cut the tits out, make it a kid show.
Was there really tits in it?
Yeah, there was tits
Was
in it.
it Benny Hill?
There was naked tits. There was scenes where like a girl was in a bath with naked. They cut them out and sold it to. They put it on at 3:00 in the afternoon on the ABC. Made it into a kids
Wow.
show. So all Australians like my age and your age, we all have this nostalgia about it because goody, yum.
Gives a whole new meaning to the episode that
it
had
was-
the big pussy in it, the
Yeah,
giant kitten.
Exactly, the big pussy and all that. It had all these innuendos, but they sold it to us like, just look at it. It's just fucking bizarre.
And every American in the room and listening around the world are suddenly going, "What the fuck are you talking
fuck,
about?"
Rove, they have Google. I don't pander to these people.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
No,
but it's like Benny Hill. I mean, you guys
I
were
grew
aware
up
of
on Benny Hill. Yeah,
Did you really? You grew up on him?
Yeah. Benny Hill was the show.
Probably
that
where
I-
you had those sexual problems.
Yeah, it is. Every time
That's why
every
you
t-
chase bald men around the street.
Every time
Allegedly-
I fuck a girl, I pat her on the head really fast.
Allegedly, he didn't like vagina. Vagina grossed him out. He wasn't gay, but
Yes, that's
he
true.
liked to get a blowjob. I read his biography.
Really?
But they reckon when he died, and I might get this figure wrong, but I'm going to get close. There was something like 5 or 8 million pounds worth of checks just laying around his
Yeah,
house.
and
that
he
never
lived
cashed
in a shitty apartment with a television on a milk crate.
No, he lived in a big apartment, but he only had a bit in a corner
Yeah,
with a
right.
fucking cot bed and a typewriter and a television on a milk crate because he was just a fucking. He wrote every episode. There was like
By himself.
150 something
Yeah.
episodes. He wrote every episode.
but there wasn't
Every
much to it. He ran around and an old man chased
There was
women.
an original song in every single one.
Really?
Yeah, where we'd sing some song about. There was a lady who came
That's
out.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
he'd do a little tune.
He went to #1 with his a song about a milkman.
I got to get the DVDs.
Oh man!
Yeah, that song about halitosis kid
We
and-
I had an incident on the show talking about slapping bald people on the head, where and I will only
I did that to Jason's mum. Same joke.
I will only name drop to put this story into context. But we had Owen
She's on-
Wilson on with Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
For You Mean Dupree, I think it was, and Owen had been on the show before and. Something stupid and
Did
silly.
he try to commit suicide that time?
He
Oh no, that's
didn't.
his brother.
That was
That's
very
his
nice
brother.
of him.
His brother tried to commit.
But,
Oh, it was
um,
Owen. It was Owen.
Something we'd done something stupid the last time he was on, and then the second time he was on, same thing happened. So he's come out and he said something along the lines of, "It's always crazy when I'm on the show. It's like an episode of Benny Hill." And I said, "Well, if you're lucky, I'll allow you to slap a bald man's head before the end of the show." And I just sort of glanced out in the audience and just spotted a guy with a bald head. So at the end of the interview, I went, "Right, I'm a man of my word. There's a guy in the audience, and I'm going to let you slap him on the head. So, sir, come on down and up to the stage, and we'll let Owen Wilson slap you on the head." The guy gets up, and he just has this look in his eye that says something's not quite right.
Oh, I know that one.
And he
yeah.
starts kind of semi-hobbling down
Yeah,
the steps.
Pageria or something.
And he's got this Medi Alert bracelet
Oh, no.
thing on that says, obviously, he's not very mentally
Like,
capable.
was it chemo or something? Or,
No, but he just was not. He was not quite all there.
Right,
Oh
right.
my God.
He was.
Slapped it hard.
He was. So he's come up, and you could just see it in my face and in Owen Wilson's face. We're just going, "Oh my God, we're about to slap a mentally handicapped person on the head." So I said, "Well, I'll go first," and I just put my arm around the guy to hold him tight because I thought, "No, if you grope Kate Hudson or something, this is going to go horribly wrong." And so then we both just very gently slapped him on the head, and then I just went, "Let's go to break and let's never speak of this
why
again."
Why don't you just let him walk down? And you go, "Have we got any non-tart heads here?"
When I did one time, I did Rove show, and you have your set before you write the set you're going to do. You guys approve the set and everything, but you guys had this episode where you would just randomly. I don't know if it's you or somebody would go out and knock on somebody's door.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Australia.
Yeah.
And you would knock on the door and they would open the door and then
In Australia, that's a fun game.
and then you would ask them questions. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was called 2 Minutes at Your House.
Yeah.
So I would just get a very brief. Oh, this is some of their likes and dislikes. This is apparently they have a skill where they can do this. And a live camera would be at someone's house watching at home, and we would knock on the door, and then I would just talk
So
to
you
them.
did this bit right before I go on stage. My opening joke's a midget joke, and you're doing this bit, and no one tells me anything. I'm watching the bit. I'm about to go on stage, and all of a sudden they knock on the door, and the door opens, and the camera's looking, and there's
Empty!
nothing, empty, and all of a sudden the camera pans down. It's a midget
There he
answered
is.
the door, and there's a midget, and I'm like
He's a dwarf.
a dwarf, and I'm like
He
little
was
person,
he was a dwarf.
and I'm like fuck.
His name
gotta-
is Jeremy Hallam. And he, I remember that one in particular as well, because they don't tell me either. That was part of it. I was like, I don't want to know too much. I want to keep it fresh and real. And so all I had was, this is how old he is. This is like, where he studies. And the little piece of information I had was he has a trick where he can kick himself in the head. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder why people's."
Yeah,
I've never known
only
anyone
dwarves can do that.
Haven't made the connection. So then there's me going, so Jeremy, apparently you have this skill where you can, and he did, sure enough, kicked himself in the head.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when they can do that.
Then got a gig like pouring shots into people's mouths in a bar, and it caused a bit of a furor. So he opened up his own promotion company where you could
Kick in the Head Productions.
dwarfmyparty.com. And so our
Why would you want to make your party smaller?
our end of year, our final Christmas party, and I'm talking ever.
You dwarfed your party.
I dwarfed my party, and he turned up. He was there, and I said to him all these years later, "Can you still kick yourself in the head?"
He can do it.
And he can do it.
Jason, can you kick yourself in the head?
No.
Can you try for us?
You have the proportions.
I'll try.
All right, please try for us.
I don't think I can do that.
gonna
But you
do
know
it.
Shaolin.
Yeah, but I'm not that flexible.
Let's see if you can do it.
Here we go.
Let's see
Clearing
if
his
he
space.
can.
Why are we?
He's pretty
Beer
good.
down.
We know he can't.
I'll
do
bet
it.
he can.
There is a hint of plumber's crack, which adds to the.
He he came pretty close.
No, not with his foot. He was kneeing himself in the head.
Come on.
Good.
Anyone can knee themselves in the head.
Oh, that's really close.
One more time.
So you're getting the shin more than anything. Yep.
Well, you have to have that hip flexibility to get that.
Oh, shut up and kick yourself in the head.
Would it be easier if someone else did it for you? Someone else kicked you in the head.
I was told I was
Jason used to be really funny.
I was told
We
I was
lost
too
it.
offensive for your show when I went down to Australia, and fair dues. But I blame Scott Capurro
Wow. Yes,
Oh, that's
as
a
you should.
great story. I heard
because
that.
I think guys like me would have been accepted before what Scott Capurro did. I never seen
Absolutely.
like your face after he went off stage and you went, all right then.
Let me preface this. I sat down in the makeup chair at your show and somebody said, "Oh, you're American." I said, "Yeah." And they said, "I'm surprised they're letting you on the show." And I said, "Why?" They said, "Oh, the last American we kind of had a problem
We
with."
kind of had a
If you
problem.
don't know who Scott Capurro is a flamboyantly gay man from San Francisco, who is pretty an offensive comic, but in the
Yeah, but he's also done. He's
He's
done.
he's
television.
not what I would call an amazingly offensive comic. He just does
No.
a lot of jokes about being a gay guy.
Absolutely, and he has done before he did our show. He did another show,
But he
years
basically-
before
he
called
basically-
Hey Hey It's Saturday,
he
which is a
basically
lot
did it.
tamer than we ever were.
He did a routine about having sex with Jesus. Was the real problem?
Oh, and the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing was, this was back in the days when before
People
like
still
people
believed in
like you,
Jesus.
Eddie. So it was far more questionable. But when, like, say, when you were on Eddie, like, you would have had to put a script in.
Yeah.
So in the early days, we didn't like doing that because, being comics, we all knew what it was like to have to put all your material into words, and putting it on paper just, people would question, is that really that funny? And we would just trust that people knew what they were doing. So we would say, just give us bullet points, a rough outline of what you're going to do. So he said, I'm going to talk about religious figures a bit. I'll do a bit of this stuff, bit of that. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. That's all fine. And he basically at one point used the line, "Come on, Mary, spread 'em." And we breached.
Hillsong got upset.
We breached like a whole lot of broadcast laws, and we were live, like not live.
Yeah,
to tape,
I watched it live.
100% live.
But at the time, Australia didn't have a lot of broadcast laws, didn't they?
Oh,
no, I don't think we were. We were letting dwarves kick themselves in the head.
Fairly strict, not as strict as America.
Not back then, though. I
No.
found we've gotten more strict.
Yeah,
since then.
probably. Yeah, it has. I mean, everything's a lot more politically correct than it used to be. But
Australia
that
lets
band
through
is in the
different things.
middle of the comedy festival in Melbourne.
Oh, is that where he did it?
That's
It
why
was
he was
during
in
the
town.
festival.
He was I
Oh.
think it was like first or second week of the festival, and we were told by our network no more stand-ups ever.
Wow.
And so Arj Barker was on the following week, and we had to tell him, "I'm so sorry, but you can't come on. We've been told we can't have comics on."
Oh, my
And it
God.
took us probably 6 months before
and then
we were allowed.
Arj fucked Jesus
Along with
just to make a point.
all the apostles, all their friends.
Because he had to top it. You can't, Mary. Well, that's been done.
No, because Arch just likes to fuck.
Jesus, Eddie.
He does. That's.
That's a bit uncalled for. He's not.
Do
in the
people
room.
not like to
He's
do that?
He's not in the room to defend himself.
Well, we can talk about Arj.
I think if he was here, he would say, "I like to have sex."
Exactly.
I
Arj would
Arj.
like also.
But he's very sensitive if you tease him.
no.
Arj.
He doesn't like teasing, but if you talk about Arj's,
I call him ass
how good he
fucker.
is with women, he likes it. He doesn't mind as long as that's what you're making.
I've
fun
heard
of
a
him
story
for.
about someone who was writing an autobiography and was talking about another person and how they'd seen them in the shower after a sporting event and how big this person's dick was. And the lawyers from the publishing house went through it and just went, well, you can't put that in there because the guy might sue us. And the guy who was writing the book was going, what man would ever sue someone for saying he had a big dick?
I had a guy in Newcastle come up to me, Newcastle, England, and yell at me, a black guy, and he said, I was offended by your set. And I said, why? He goes, you made a comment about black men having big cocks, and that's a stereotype. And I went, it's a good one.
I think one that they're happy with.
Yeah, I don't think any black guy is going to be like, stop saying that. We are sick of
Well, it
being
could put the pressure on. I don't know.
True. Speaking of pressure, Lilit just walked in. She wasn't here for the first. Lilit, you missed a famous person, but now, see, she's not going to pay attention because she doesn't know because
That's
you're from
okay.
Australia
That's
and
fine.
how famous you are.
And you walked in right at the time I said the line, "Come on, Mary, spread 'em," which was
what turned her on.
welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here.
Lilit has a thing for famous people. So, do you know who Rove is?
She's a
I
star
know
fucker.
them.
She once tried to fuck an Irishman who wasn't famous
Yeah.
Simply because of the accent.
because he was deemed to be mildly famous in his head.
It was
By
more
Jason.
forced.
Jason laughs about this now. Why? What's happened? What's happened to your Irish friend?
He took over my room. He's living where I was
Oh,
living.
He's doing well,
he's
isn't he?
taking your scraps, and you say he's a big movie director. That's fucking hysterical.
I didn't say he's a big movie director.
Yes, you did. You said
A writer.
we'll get our attorneys.
Our
right,
attorney.
You
well, that
said I'm going to get William Morris on you. William Morris, come after me. I've got a TV show. You can't take me.
Ewan McGregor. Who else was he signing on?
I have
Matthew
no idea.
McConaughey.
Excuse
No.
my ignorance. How many big films have come out of Ireland for there to be a famous?
The Magdalene sisters.
Well, of course.
the Magdalene sisters. Something. Potatoes 1 and 2.
The Commitments.
Yeah, the
Wait,
commitments.
they did have that one that the black guys redid.
Oh, Death at a Funeral.
Yeah, Death at a Funeral.
Was that Irish?
That was an Irish
No,
film.
but that was directed by Frank Oz, the original.
Oh, it was a very good film.
Was it really?
Yeah,
All
Miss
right.
Piggy
I love
did
that
it.
movie.
That was Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yes.
Black version, not so good.
I hear it was exactly the same.
I got a callback for the black version.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was
The Owen Wilson character?
for Luke Wilson's character.
Oh, Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson's character. I got a callback for that one. Yeah,
But Jason,
with the Luke Wilson character, you might have said the white character. Yeah,
only
that's the one. That's the one.
The
I gotta-
dwarf. You were
that's
the
the one
dwarf.
I
Did you go
gotta-
for the dwarf?
Bad guy?
You know what I love about that film? They use the same dwarf.
oh yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
That's just fucking-
That's true.
That's money for old rope. That guy
But
just
how
rocks.
weird? How weird would it be for him to be
Having sex with a black guy.
doing
odd.
the exact same movie?
yeah.
Like from what I've heard, I haven't said it, but from what I hear, pretty much line for line,
Yeah,
scene
it's-
for
yeah.
scene,
I
with a
imagine it-
completely different cast.
I imagine it would be the same as any porn star.
That's true.
Lily,
That explains
Do you
the bass guitar
do you know
I know,
soundtrack.
Rove. Did you do Paul Provenza's set list?
I did.
I saw you then.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You were
Yeah,
great.
yeah. That was the highlight
Yeah.
of his career. Go away.
That's
That is good, frightening fun.
yeah.
did you did you have the hots for him then?
Try having sex with a lead if you want good, frightening fun.
I was turned on by your comedy. You were really
Well,
good.
thank you. I will take
Turned
that.
on.
Yeah.
You were turned on by comedy.
by his
It's always ridiculous when someone says
Yeah.
that.
I don't know.
Lily,
Trying
I
to
heard
be
you were in
nice.
New York City.
I went to New York City.
Yeah?
I saw your picture at the Comedy Cellar.
That's
I got
nice.
a little excited.
Yeah.
Have you, have you
do
signed
get
it?
when she sees our photos in comedy clubs, she like sends me a photo.
Yeah, you sent me a photo.
I got
Photo of the photo.
Yeah, I got a picture of
I
me
got-
up in the Improv, and she takes a photo and sends it to me. And I'm like, I know it's there. I've been there.
I can go there and look at it.
You didn't know.
Well, wait. I heard you were at the Comedy Cellar, and I heard you were with Brian McCarthy.
I was with Brian McCarthy.
But
He took
weren't
me.
you saying that Brian McCarthy in Vegas raped you or molested you?
Stop taking my words out of context. You
What
guys-
did you say?
I said he got a little too close and a little rapey as an adjective.
I saw
not
you punch him.
as a verb.
She punched him
as
in
an
the strip club.
adjective, not a verb. Big difference in the English language.
So
Jason
Brian
Howard.
McCarthy's rapey, Jason's a rapist.
True.
I don't
Fuck
think
you.
No, he hasn't. Jason
You gotta hear from my
categorically-
lawyer.
Good to be back.
Slander.
Good to be back,
Since
isn't
we're
it?
not friends on Facebook still, then yes, you are.
I need to preface.
Hey, I gotta-
Rove is popular with children and adults. Can we stop talking about rape?
Yeah.
Unless-
Why are you
maybe,
here,
Maybe that's the
Rove?
reason. Maybe that's the reason he's so popular.
We have Australia's Jerry Sandusky sitting right there.
Oh shit.
I'm
Wait, we forgot to
fascinated.
That
by,
left an awkward silence.
I'm fascinated about the Irish guy. His career's going through the roof. Why is he taking over your bedroom?
Because he's going to New York and he'd rather have a room where he can come and crash in than like storage unit or something.
Right.
Why
What's
is
he
he
going to
going
New
to
York
New
for?
York?
And what do you get out of it? Like when he?
No, I
his-
moved
his
out.
next movie-
Um,
Do you and him still see each other every week? You still in love?
I talk to him occasionally.
Are you still getting a part in his film?
I was never in love.
You're still in
man
you're in
love, man love.
We were just drinking together for a minute.
You get man crushes like no one's business.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
This is
worse
what our
than me.
problem is with you.
You fell in love with me. You fell out of love with me. You fell in love with Jim. You fell out of love with Jim. You fell in love with Devlin. You fell out of love with Devlin.
You fell in love with-
You're
Irish
just
guy.
jealous. I love them all.
No.
Rove, you know what this is saying, Rove? Rove, do not let him follow you
You
home.
have little favorites for a while. That
do.
you're like,
No,
oh,
I don't.
Oh, Jim's so great. Jim's like, you know, remember when you like get drunk and tell me I'm the next George Carling? Like, you
Yeah.
remember
I
those?
remember- still believe
remember
that.
when you used to love my
I
comedy.
still love you. What are you talking about?
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You haven't called me the next George Carling in a long time.
Is there any chance you followed Rove home?
No.
Why not?
Why am I not good enough?
Yeah.
Whoa. This is
Rove,
getting awkward.
Rove, if
I
we
don't
let
wanna-
him spend an hour with you, he would come back and be like, "Do you know what he's done?" And do you know? He would talk about you.
He had a
And he'd be like,
Tonight Show and he's going to make me a
"He's
co-host
done
of the
this."
Tonight Show.
And I'm-
Hey, let me touch him.
And I'm going to go over to Australia and.
Oh
over
yeah, I'd
there.
tell you
Yeah.
all that. I would tell you all that. I'd make you believe whatever you wanted to believe.
Do you
For
see
what?
what?
You're happy.
Do you
Well,
see
I
what
don't want you
happens?
coming because when you're at the top of the clock tower and you're looking through the gun sight and you see my head in the little crosshairs, I want you to go, nah, he's okay, and move on to the next guy.
You know what the secret is, Rove? Stay away from clock towers.
Good point.
Life's
point.
very simple.
'Cause
You
he
can
will be-
overcomplicate
You
things.
will
will
either
be
because
there.
you will either get shot or sent back to 1955.
That is a good point.
That's a Back to the Future reference.
Yes,
I
we
got
caught
it.
that.
Oh, good.
Jason.
In 3 years, the world's going to be vastly different, like Back to the Future 2. That was 2015. We got,
Hoverboard.
we got some work to do to get those sky cars up and running. It's not even just the invention of the sky cars. It's the infrastructure
Yes.
of the sky roads.
Hold on. Fucking weird. I was surfing like about 3 weeks ago, and a guy just out in the middle of the ocean is flying.
Yeah, the jetpack.
Yeah, he's
saw him.
flying in a
What?
jetpack.
I videotaped
Yeah,
it.
we've seen jetpacks for fucking years.
I don't care. I'm out in the middle of Venice, and a fucking jetpack goes right past me. When's the last time you saw one?
Just
Michael Jackson, Dangerous Tour.
Well, didn't one of the closing ceremonies of the Olympics, like
But
the LA
it
closing
was.
ceremony, that's when they first used the jetpack. And
you
I
didn't-
thought we were all getting them.
You didn't think I had an actual moment, did
That
you?
was amazing. And then he referenced. I thought he was referencing Strawberry Kisses.
Strawberry kisses.
He had sex with Strawberry Kisses.
Nikki Webster.
Nikki Webster.
Wow.
Before
Yeah.
she was famous.
Yeah, I never admitted to it. I never
Hang on,
admitted to
what?
it.
Before she was famous.
I never admitted to it. I never admitted to it, and then I told Jim, and I'm like, "Don't ever tell anybody." And I forget where we were, and Jim goes, "I was somewhere," and somebody goes, "Didn't you fuck Nikki Webster?" And I go, "How do you know that?" They're like,
Now you
"Jim
know
Jeffries."
she technically needs to be described as our Nikki Webster.
Oh yeah.
Am I our Jim Jeffries yet? I haven't been back for a while. Have I got the name?
Let's say yes.
Ah, good.
Hooray!
Hey,
And
good.
Rove-
It's good to have a profile at home.
Rove's been knighted, so
Have you been knighted?
Oh, sure, if it helps.
Yeah, you can't knight Australians. You can
Oh,
only-
you can't?
Yeah,
No. It's like I can't be president
wait,
either.
wait, you can knight Scottish. Why can't you knight Australians?
Because they're part of Great Britain. We're not part of Great Britain.
But you're part of the
Part of
Commonwealth.
the Commonwealth. Let's start fucking knighting Canadians then.
Yes.
Let's go all willy-nilly with our knightings.
What else?
Fiji.
Have you met the Queen?
No. The closest I've got to a member of the royal family was Fergie. Sarah Ferguson.
I performed in front of Harry and William.
Oh, cool.
Where?
In Britain. Where do you fucking...
No, I don't know.
At the lounge room.
East Timor.
I did. Well, I've done a gig at St Andrews.
Did you get to meet
twice,
them?
Actually, I've done a gig at St Andrews University when William was there with the young girl, and then I did the military group that they did in the UK. I was quite popular in the UK, you know.
We got it, Jim. We all know. We all read your Wikipedia page.
Played for royalty.
So did you get to meet them at all?
No.
Did you have to do the...
They laughed,
you know
though.
how-
I could see they were laughing.
Man, that'd be distracting.
I had Giuliani once. I had Rudolph Giuliani was in the crowd.
Oh, he'd be tough. He'd be a tough man to get
No,
to
he
laugh.
wasn't bad to get laughs. And then
Is he
Ben,
like a- isn't he a
Ben
big
Kingsley,
hulky- big
Ben
hulky-
Kingsley came and saw me do a set at the Improv in front of 30 people when they were just having. Turn that off, Lee. Turn it off. Seriously.
He's tough to make laugh. How did you go with that?
Look, Gandhi loves a rape joke. I'm telling you.
Now, hang on. Clarify.
He came along especially to see me. He knew who I was. He came and spoke to me.
Rape
after-
the verb or rape the adjective?
yeah.
He
Lalit's rape or real rape?
The noun.
Come here, you little rape.
Ben Kingsley. I'm
That
trying
is
to
a
think.
noun, actually.
I've had Kevin Bacon. I had like 12 people in the audience. One of them was Kevin Bacon, which was I felt.
Oh,
like,
that's going to make that game for me easier.
yeah. I felt like
I just got to get back to Eddie. Then I can get straight to Kevin.
I felt like I was then. I was first degree.
What's happening now?
I don't know. How'd they get out?
There's dogs.
Let Harlow stay.
There
Let
are
Harlow
dogs.
stay. 'Cause she
Oh,
goes
you
crazy.
pick favorites with your dogs.
This one gets to.
Hello, little one.
I'm trying to think of weird fucking people. I had Leonard Skinner, the remains of Leonard Skinner, at a show.
What, in an urn?
Yeah, at the same show, Tone Loc at the
Whoa,
show. Yeah,
whoa.
Tone Loc and Leonard Skinner.
Do you
in the
know
audience.
this before the fact? Or you
No,
look
no.
out and you go, is that?
Afterwards, a guy came and got me, this big fat like bodyguard, and goes, "Come here." He goes, "Come here. You need to meet somebody." He comes over. He goes, "You know who this is?" And I went, "No." And he goes, "This is Tone Loc." And I went, "Well, hello, Mr. Loc." And he goes,
Loc.
"He was so funny. I almost threw up. I was laughing so hard." And then I met Leonard Skinner at the bar.
Sounds a lot like my auntie. You smoke too much.
So I'm drinking with Leonard Skinner, and I went, "Holy fuck, Leonard Skinner, Tone Loc, you guys got to meet each other." So I introduced Leonard Skinner to Tone Loc. And,
Wow.
And it was like the worlds collided. But there was only like, I guess like 2 remaining Leonard Skinner guys. I forget how many died. How many died?
How many were there to begin with?
There were a bunch, and a bunch died.
I was in Denver the other day, and who is the famous Denver quarterback?
John
Joe
Elway.
Montana.
John Elway.
Oh, John Elway. That's right,
John
Elway.
Elway
That's right.
came
My
to
bad.
see me, and then John Elway came to see me, and then they said John Elway wants to meet you, and I went, "Who's John Elway?" And they went, "Ha, you're a funny guy." And then I met him, and for days afterwards, I was going, "Who is that guy?" He's got a lot of teeth. He looks like a horse.
Huge man.
When I did your show, Rove show, Glenn McGraw.
Yes.
Glenn McGraw
So
was
he's a cricketer.
was on the show, and we were sitting in the green room after the show, and I hadn't watched his part of the show, and I said to
I
him,
like Glenn McGrath.
I said, "So what do you do?" And he said, "I play cricket."
Pretty
And-
good. He plays cricket.
And I said, "For a living." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You can do that." I didn't know. It was my first time to Australia.
Oh, I thought your next question was going to be, what's cricket?
Yeah, but I was like, "You can make a living playing cricket."
Yeah, it's
and he
like
was
a
like,
professional
"Yeah,
It's the
it's kind of one of the biggest
it's
sports in the world."
The second most popular sport on earth.
I think I just looked these up. No,
Football?
soccer.
Soccer, second's cricket. You
So
you get India involved. That's a
The
billion
old
cunts
English
already.
empire, its tentacles
It's the-
still kind of have
It's
a
the only
hold.
thing India gives a shit about. Yeah, I've been in.
That's true.
They love cricket, man. They fucking love it.
Rove, didn't your show start like you were doing a show like this?
Yeah, we were on.
Oh, so it started funny. No,
we had dogs running around and everything.
Wasn't it like a cable access kind of show?
Yeah. So it was on what we call in Australia community television, so like public access, and it was as bare bones as you could ever wish that to be. And we'd borrowed sets from other people's shows, and it was all it was
Do you miss it?
doing it that way.
Yeah.
It was fun. I tell you what, it was the best way to learn the skills I've needed to keep at this, because if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong on a show where everybody working on it isn't earning any money and all the equipment's old and
okay,
shitty.
I got to ask this, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be rude. Okay,
This will end
Yeah.
really well.
My butthole's puckering right now as he just said that.
you like the way you look? No, But you were as big as you could be in Australia. Why America? Why did you give a shit?
Well, it was less about coming to the States and more about just stopping the show at the time.
Like if I was as big as you in Australia, I wouldn't have come over to America because I would have already had a profile.
Our fans need to know how big you were. You're literally as big as Letterman.
I traveled the world because I was trying to find notoriety wherever I could find it, and then I just ended up here, right? But you already had it, and I find that hard to leave something and then go, why?
Well, because we had just hit 10 years,
Yeah.
and so in September of that year, we had done a big 10-year special. And, we're looking back at old clips. I was doing a lot of press where people were saying, how many more years? Would you do another 10? And I think because, or they were saying, how much longer would you do it for? Like, would you do another 10? I was like, well, yeah, I'll just keep going till I either don't want to do it anymore or I feel people don't want it anymore. And I guess the more I thought about it, the more I go, well, it's got to stop at some point. And when it does, I want it to be on my terms while the show is still on top. And so then as we were getting to the end of the year in November, I was going, geez, maybe that's now. Like, it's a tough call to make, but maybe if I do it now and stop now, before the roller coaster goes from being on the up to the
But you could be
down.
like Letterman or Leno and just stay there forever.
I don't think you can. Well, we were prime time too. That's the other thing you got to
So
remember.
your answer is you were chicken. I'm only kidding.
Well, no, I think it's more. It's like it's hard. It's hard work. Like, Jay and Dave and anyone who they all compete against each other.
Did you
and Jay
but
knows
they
very
have a-
well. Like, you move into prime time, suddenly you got a different. Like, we had, the Survivor. We had the Apprentice.
You're on
we
at
had
what
the
time? 8
Good
o'clock
Run.
or 9 o'clock?
Yeah, 8:30, 9:30, depending on the
yeah.
year.
Gee, I thought you were late. I thought you were like
No.
11.
No, we were in
No,
prime
prime
time.
time.
And it's
It's a night show in prime time. That's really unheard of, isn't it?
It's hard work. For 10 years, it's tough. It's tough. And you have good years and you have bad years, depending what you're up against. And we were on a high at the time, and part of me just went, maybe the time's now.
Do
Then I just...
do you think you'd ever go back and do it again?
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, here's my question about that. So you were as famous as you can get in Australia, and you couldn't walk down. I've seen with Arj, when I hang out with Arj, people like scream at Arj, and you're 10 times more famous than Arj. How did you go from that, and then you come to America and be like, have complete anonymity probably?
The weird thing is, I was in just a shopping center, a shopping mall here, and I was on the down escalator, and someone was passing me on the up escalator. And they just kind of looked at me, and I just kind of went, oh, and looked down and cast my eyes down, and then just went, no, they're just looking at you. That's what people do when they pass another person on an escalator. You just look at them. For years, I had this feeling of you feel like people are looking at you. If you're out in public, you usually, put a cap on or something. Like, I would never go to a shopping mall in Australia.
Right.
Or if you do, like, I would go and see movies, but I'd see them 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning or something when no one else is going to be around. And then when you finish, you go straight back home. So it took a while to
So
kind
you're
of adjust.
you're enjoying this now more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's gotta
Absolutely.
be kinda
And I
cool.
tell you what's really nice is like getting up and doing stand-up again, because I hadn't really had the chance to do much stand-up over the years while I was doing the TV show. So to be doing stand-up here, it feels like starting all over again, but you've got the material and you've got the confidence, which you didn't have when you first started. So you've got the exhilaration of, if I have a good gig, I know it's because I'm good at what I do and not because people know who I am.
Right.
But when you're starting out...
Are you looking forward to that gig?
Yes. I hear it's a couple of months away. I've got it circled in the calendar.
No, because people in America don't even understand it. Like, if you're famous in America, you still, like, really famous in America, people still won't recognize you. Because we've got 300 million people and 500 different channels. People don't understand Australia. There's 20 million people
And
like
4 channels.
4 channels.
Yeah.
And like,
So-
just to explain, we have cable TV in Australia, but
no one gets it.
No one really gives a fuck.
Like,
Right?
no one gets it. My agents did like research to figure out with selling like DVDs. They're like, 4% of the country is watching cable.
Yeah. It's
My father just watches SBS. That's all
Yeah,
he watches.
for
He
the
watches
boobs.
the foreign language channel.
It's a good channel though.
But he can't speak English hardly. Like, I don't know why he wants to get involved with the foreign folk.
But my point is, it's like you were so famous. Like, how could and then it would just
Yeah, but he's a married man. What's fame without pussy, right? You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
What's the point
That's
of
true.
it without
That's
pussy?
true.
I understand exactly where he's coming from. Fame's just irritating. If
Yeah,
you
it is.
can't get
It is.
laid.
A buddy of mine, you know him. He's been on your show, James Smith.
Yes.
James Smith said to me once, "No one wants to be rich and famous. We all want to be rich and privileged.
Yeah, but James says that as a non-famous person.
No, but I mean, he goes, you don't want to be famous with the public. You don't want to walk out in the streets and get bugged. You want to be able to get the restaurant. You want to be able to get the table. You want to be able to get in somewhere. You want.
But for the most part, I've experienced a smaller amount of fame than you have in the UK and to a certain degree here. I like when people come up to me. People, for the most part,
You
are
like
very
people
nice.
coming up to you in the streets?
For the most part, people are very
different.
nice.
Like when you're out in public, everybody, like the only people that come up to you are those who like you, and they're fans, and they want to come up and say how much they like what you do.
You guys haven't been slapped on the back of the neck with "you funny cunt you."
In a good way. But it's like, if people want to say something negative, they'll do it in hiding on the internet. If they want to say something positive, they will come up and say it to your face. That's what I find. For the most
true.
At the same time, this is Jesse the Jew. No, I think that, but it's got to be slightly a relief to be able to live your life in public and to be able to go out and do normal things that normal people do.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome.
And not be bothered all the time. I mean, just traveling. I'm not famous by any means, but going out with the comedians on Chelsea, it's like I would be the worst person ever to be famous because I would just tell people to fuck off because I would be tired. And especially now, it's like they used to ask for your autograph. Now everyone wants a fucking picture everywhere you go. If you're really famous,
Oh man,
as you are,
if you said to somebody, you could sit down. This is my theory anyway. If you said to someone, you can sit down and talk with, you pick any person, celebrity or whoever it was that you would want to meet. If you could sit down and talk with them for half an hour and have a really good, engaging conversation, but that's all you get, or you meet them for 5 seconds, but you get an autograph and a photo, what would you take? I think most people would go option B, I want proof to show my friends and something to hang on.
Well, I was in.
I agree with that
I was at
completely.
Captain Brian's in Marco
Marco Island.
And Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green came to see me perform.
Wait a minute. When we were throwing out like
Nice.
princes, we were throwing out princes and mayors.
I just
and you didn't.
remembered.
All right, I was gonna say Megan Fox trumps all of them.
I just remembered I was outside, and then Brian Austin Green came up.
Fuck him.
And he
Megan Fox.
He asked me if I had a light on me, right? And I said, oh, and then whatever, right? And then Megan Fox walked up and said, have you got your light on you, honey? And he pulled his cigarette lighter out and lit a cigarette, right? And I went, you just wanted to talk to me, Brian Austin Green.
Uh-huh.
You already had a light in your pocket. You just came out of the thing. So I pulled him out in his little scam, right? And so anyway, so we're staying there. Megan Fox is wearing a baseball cap. She's still hot as fuck. Her sister's there, not as hot as her, but dating a construction guy down in the Florida Keys. And that construction guy, his whole life is, I'm fucking Megan Fox's sister, right? That's his whole
It's like a heartbeat away from the president. That's what that is.
But he basically said to me, I fucked the sister, right? Right. So anyway, so Megan Fox is down there. And this was a very sleepy little town. There was no one in this courtyard. And we chatted, the three of us chatted for maybe 30 minutes. And then a couple of people came up and said, oh, can I have a photo? Megan Fox said, no, I don't take photos. I can sign something for you if you like, but I don't take photos while I'm out. Because obviously, not like us. For her, it's like if she looks like shit, it gets into a magazine.
Absolutely.
But for men, it's not the same type of thing.
And flashes start and it attracts attention.
And she wasn't dressed up or anything, so I understand where she's coming from. But she was very nice to everyone. And she said, no, I don't take photos of the thing. And then this went on, and then the area started to get more populated as we went on. And then this is one of my greatest moments in life. This big fat guy who looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons walks up and goes, can I please have a photo? And she goes, no, I don't take photos. He goes, Jim, just one photo, please. Right? He didn't even notice Megan Fox. Like that's how good I am. And then I went, oh yeah, I can take a photo. Can you take that for us, Megan? So there's a big fat guy to this day who has a photograph taken of me and him by Megan Fox, and he didn't even fucking notice her existence.
Well, it was true. We had Brad Garrett on the last episode, and we were walking past my landlord's house, and my landlord, I said, she made a comment, and I said something, and she talked to Brad, and Brad made a comment back, and I said, do you know Brad? She had no idea who Brad was.
Yeah, and he's such a discreet looking fellow.
like
6'7".
Yeah, on one of the most famous sitcoms of all time.
Like visually, and even if he opens his mouth,
Yeah,
like
the
how
voice.
would you not know
And
who
she
he is?
forever couldn't figure it out. So we did the show. She comes back afterwards. She goes, I figured it out. Because he lied to her. She goes, what's your name? And he goes, Brad. She goes, Brad what? He goes, Brad Barron. And he just like lied to her.
Well,
she came back. She Googled Brad comic. She goes, I found him. I know who he is
Super
now.
sleuth.
We rang Ron Jeremy up last episode.
So you should.
Right? And we rang him up on his cell phone. And Ron, who I've met several times, I have his number. Don't ask me why. And so I rang him up and I said, you want to do the podcast? He goes, yeah, Jim J, I sort of remember you. Like he very vaguely, like he argued. And I said, Brad Garrett wants to talk to you. He never met Brad Garrett. And the two of them just had a chat.
Yeah.
For like 3 or 4 minutes. It was no small thing.
And he goes, that is you.
Yeah, he goes, put him on.
He heard his voice. He goes, that is you. He
And he
thought
was
it
like,
Was he
Hey there,
panting
Ron.
at the time?
I've met Ron Jeremy.
Oh, that's Ron Jeremy.
Well, he had a girl say
God.
hi.
I've met Ron Jeremy 100 times, and every time he's like, oh. And then I say, I'm a comedian. And he goes, comedian, I know Jim Norton. That's always his go-to.
Well, he had
I know Jim Norton.
He had a threesome with Jim Norton.
Oh, I know the whole story when Jim, at some porn convention at the AVNs or something.
AVNs. I get offered the AVNs all the time, and I always go, why can't you get me while I'm single? I just don't want to go to the candy shop.
I'd actually rather go to the AVNs in a relationship than single because
you're a fag.
Yeah, because with a relationship, I wouldn't fuck up. Without a relationship, I'd be like, oh, I got to go get AIDS tested.
But I went and filmed a piece at one of the porn expos last
Was it
year.
Gonzo? What was it?
No, it was Exotica.
Yeah, Exotica. Yeah.
And one of the questions I had for the people that were there was, it's different for, let's say, people in the stand-up comedy world. If, comic book guys coming up to you after a gig and he says, I really love what you do. I'm a big fan. Will you sign this? Can I have a photo? Whatever. You know that guy loves what you do, and when he's enjoying what you do, he is sitting there and he's laughing at home or in an audience somewhere. When a fan comes up to you and you're in the sex industry...
I have to stop you right here, Rove. You being funny isn't the reason I like you. I'm normally masturbating watching your show.
Well, then that's good. Then I'm doing something right. It's all those Scott Capurro jokes. But yeah, I just thought the idea of when a fan is coming up to you and they're saying, I really love what you do, you just know that person is spanking off at home.
Yeah.
It must be a weird thing to have to get your head around.
I don't think it bothers them. I think they're completely inspired.
Flattered.
by it.
Yeah.
It's probably true.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, like that's the weirdest thing I can think of that a porn star would have to wrap their head around.
I think
not
they're-
being gangbanged by 20 guys for one day or something.
We had one on the show who got offended by Jim and I. This girl, Caden Cross.
What did you say to offend?
Oh, we've gone over this too many times.
But we've gone over, yeah.
Then why bring it up?
But for you,
I know Eddie's not very good at this.
She just got upset by some things we said, and she was like, they were offensive. And we're like, we're offensive. You've been, had 40 cocks in your face, and you're offended by us by like a few
the
things.
defense rests, Your Honor.
Yeah. So it was.
She did not agree.
Or as they say, the cum settles.
Do they?
That's how porn court cases go.
There are no porn court cases.
That is not.
I
that is
assume
not
there
a
is.
gavel. I'm
Let me
banging
tell
on.
you-
New genre.
No. We have coming on the show next week. We have Yoshi who works on Dave Attell's show, and Yoshi has like a story to break, which is really the creepiest story ever. He worked for a porn company, and it's.
Who's Yoshi? Have we met Yoshi?
Oh, he's the best. He's fantastic.
Hey, we've had so much fun here with Rove, and it's not often you get to have an international superstar, so we're going to hold him hostage and not let him leave. He's going to do another episode. Sorry, Rove, you're not leaving. So listen up for our next episode with Rove McManus.